here we are, another video, going through another track on the EP. Today we're going through the song Banjo Kazooey.
A super guy you'd rather die than see. Ride first at the scene to make a scene and leave. Zeus' son, but in Hades, G. Stop looking like this ain't exactly what you made me be. See, cause I
Slightly different feel from the last track. This is a more old school hip hop feel, but I wanted to make it a bit more spooky, with some like layered synths and pads to sort of give it a slightly different vibe than what you might expect. So this whole song started with originally just this piano loop. So after the chop and going into the sampler, we have this. I should say as well, that makes more sense because I had the drums at this point. So this is a drum loop just from Splice, which I really liked. So that was starting to come together quite nicely. I then recorded my bass line over the top was the next thing. Really simple, sort of, that's where the spooky feeling sort of stuff. Oh, I think I'll get my... How about this out actually? So that's where the kind of spooky feeling started coming in, and then I really drove that home just with the pad that sits over the top. So this pad is a DX7 patch from Arturia, Room 1B organ. Put a load of pitch shifting, reverbs and stuff on top so that it was sort of a bit dissonant and all over the place. And then we have another pad that comes in over the top halfway through. Kind of feels like a old like video game, or like 80s horror like score sounds that you would hear. So I really like that vibe. I can't stay in focus for some reason on this camera. There we are. And then the last element that comes in like halfway through, this camera's doing my nut in. What I might just quickly do, how's that? Right, the last bit that then comes in are these horn stabs. So these are just the Logic horn sounds basically, and they have a delay on them. I use it a lot in different tracks, productions and stuff. So this just sounds like this. That's kind of it, but when you have it in the mix, it adds like an extra rhythm on top of the drums. Just to keep the beat sort of interesting. We then go on to our B section. So I took the drum loop and I sort of chopped it up a lot in this bit. I didn't reorder it, I just chopped out extra bits in between. We then had a new bass line. Which I really like, that little like lick. It's quite, again, just gives off that vibe that the whole track has. We then have our pads back over the top. Still from the DX7, but it's got some slightly different effects. We then have this lead note over the top. This is from the Mini Moog from Arturia, crystal clear preset, and then we've got chorus, delay, things like that on there as well. And that's everything we have in that middle section. Again, this whole beat is quite minimalistic. It's just a few sounds, but really tuned in to fill a certain space. So that's why there's not as much going on instrumentally. I really wanted Joe's vocals to sort of shine through. And then we have the ending section. So this is the same core rhythm and like elements as before, but there's some extra bits over the top. So there's these two pads that we have. So we've got mini V3 pad, sound again, a gape section, preset, and then we've got another DX7, again on the room organ, but with a slightly different flavour, I guess, over the top. So kind of doing that big final ending sound almost, you know, trying to make it a bit more epic. So it's just more chord layers and synths on top basically. But I think that's really the whole track, to be honest. It's the same sort of basic drum loop the whole way through with that B section, same chord, bass line, and just that change in the middle and some extra textures coming in and out. So it's a really standard, and then we've just got all of Joe's vocals down at the bottom here. As I said before, I may do a separate video later on running through vocal production and everything. If you'd be interested in that, leave a comment. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little look at how this beat was made. If you have, like I say, drop a like, subscribe, put on the notification bell, and then you'll know when the next video goes up. Hopefully next week we'll have another video going through the final track, Half of Something with Bobby, which was a really fun track to write, and the instrumental had quite a lot going on in there. So I'm excited to show that one off. So yeah, stay safe, and I'll speak to you all next week.